And welcome back to the Dawn Show. My guest, Steve Brown, is sharing his inspirational story of battling cancer. He is a triathlete, a coach, author of the book In Search of Center, and now we're joined by his two beautiful daughters, Jennifer and Danielle. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
And you know, I don't want to make this about a battle with cancer, because in life it's about the journey. And that's what I love about your perspective, Steve, is that you're saying no matter what your battle is, face it in a certain way with a certain attitude, because that's what's going to get you through. Am I right?
You're right. And I think no matter what the situation that you're dealt, you're always given a choice. You know, you may not know what that is right away, but you get whether it be relationships or a diagnosis, or somebody cuts you off on the highway, or your restaurant gave you the wrong meal, or you make up anything you want to. Your next move doesn't have to be, oh my God, this is horrible, I don't know what to do about it. You know, your next choice is, okay, so now what? What choices can I make? What are my options? What's my next path? But
a chronic form of blood cancer like you have certainly forces you to put life in perspective. The guy cutting you off on the Schuylkill kind of doesn't matter as much.
That's absolutely
right?
Yep.
Because you've got that perspective.
It teaches you perspective for sure. Yep.
And so for you, Jen and Danielle, I mean, for you, Jen, what has your dad's journey done for your life and your daughter's life?
I think, like the way he was saying when he kind of did the why me thing for a while, I think that I had the same kind of reaction, like why him, they have the wrong guy. But once I got over that, after a long time, and I've seen what he's been able to do with such a negative situation, and I've had the privilege of being able to watch him help other people, and I've had the privilege of being able to show my daughter that, and that's where we come from, and that's what we do, and that's just our family, and that's her pop-up. I think that's just invaluable, and I think now that, like, not that I would wish that on anybody, but if it had to happen, they had the right guy.
Aww. And for you?
He has this way of spinning a negative situation into something so positive, and it's become such a role model for us. And I feel like, I agree, I had this is the wrong guy. I mean, who runs home from chemo treatments? His wife. We do think he's crazy, but we love him anyway. But I mean, the people that we've been able to meet throughout this whole experience and the things that we've been able to see has been so inspirational. The things that he does, I mean, we're on board with everything. We'll help him volunteer. We volunteer at his races. We help him raise money for people, for organizations who support him. Like he always says, it comes full circle, and it's really just been great for us to be involved with it. So, I mean, I don't think any of us would have changed a thing, especially since he's healthy now.
And when I say why me, I don't necessarily mean in the selfish personal sense. Right. I mean, this is the why me that I'm referring to. You know, why us? Why me? Because they don't deserve to have a sick dad. You know, I wanted to make sure, you know, by remaining active and by doing things like running home from, and believe me, I got all kinds of comments from that. And it was also, besides feeling liberating as a patient, I felt as a father, it was sending a message to the people that I loved that says, look, I'm still doing this, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm still whole, I'm still me. It's not taking this part of my life away, and it was important for me, for other people to see that.
So how did you tell your wife and your daughters when you got, more recently, you got some bad news from your doctor?
Yeah, and I won't even call it bad news necessarily. So I was recently, my original diagnosis was in 2006, February 24th, 2006. A date I'll remember like a birthday or an anniversary. Mm-hmm. We went through 4 week-long rounds of treatment. We went through 2 years of follow-up treatment, and I remained in a remission, cancer-free, or at least cancer undetectable state from then until last summer. Last summer, a few symptoms started to appear again, but we knew exactly how we wanted to handle it. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. And I think then telling the news to Jennifer and Danielle became that much easier because they saw the positive effects of the original drugs that I was treated with. So it wasn't like I wasn't hospital bound, I wasn't bedridden. It was just a matter of, hey, a couple of pesky lymph nodes are back, or my white count's elevated a little bit. Here's how we're going to handle it. We're going to go back in, take a little more treatment. And I think they felt optimistic because they saw the great results the first time around.
He's the only person I know who would call this a hiccup.
That's why I shook my head too.
Because for you, it's scary.
Yeah. Well, I think we kind of let him do and we mimic his optimism to an extent. But while he's doing that, we kind of meet on the side and say, like, all right, how do we really feel about this? What are we going to do about this?
So how do you really feel? What do you say on the sidelines?
It's scary, man. It is scary.
We see how he presents it in such a positive way, and he has this demeanor about him, and his attitude is half of the reason why he's been so successful with this, I think.
Well, there's actually a great story around that, because when we came home, we picked you guys up from school, sat you down in the living room to tell you about the disease and the diagnosis and the treatment. And again, Danielle's right, I painted as optimistic a slant as I could, not to hide anything, but because I knew the protocol and the prognosis was favorable, and so I wanted to emphasize that. These guys know I'm optimistic almost to a fault, and Jennifer heard my whole story and then turned to my wife and said, okay, now let me hear your version, so that I can weigh it out and figure out what the reality is. So I know you guys, I know what you do on One T.
I love Danielle's sense of humor. We're in the green room and you're talking about this and remission man and all of this and your cancer, and Danielle says, but more importantly, will my hair that Joelle Garcia just did look this good tomorrow? And
it's gotta last till Christmas. I can't do this.
So I love the sense of humor that you have, because you need that levity. Yep. We'll continue on more and hopefully meet your daughter Bryn when we come right back.